Episode of Sports 101 here on YouTube, and it's been an interesting international break so far. We are looking to wrap up the international break by tomorrow or Wednesday at the latest, and we have a recap of some of the interesting news that have gone on during this international break. We look at the Black Stars of Ghana having played one friendly match against Japan, and I look to have another friendly match against South Korea. That match being tomorrow. Otto Addo looking to test his side against the Asian opposition. And then there have been some other additions to the World Cup, teams that have made it to the World Cup proper in 2026. And where we are here on the African continent, Nigeria missed out on qualification last night as they succumbed to that loss against DR Congo via penalty shootout. It was a very, very cagey match, 1-1 after 90 minutes, 1-1 after extra time. We get into all that conversation. We look at the European qualifiers. Portugal did it the hard way, but they made it look very easy as they went away and won by 6-1 without Cristiano Ronaldo. And France also booked their tickets to the World Cup. England booked their ticket to the World Cup as well. And so there are just limited slots available as we look forward to the Interconfederation playoff in March to find out the final, teams that are making it to the World Cup. The European playoffs are also in. Ireland made it a very, very, very interesting late win over Bulgaria away from home. And so they also make their way to the World Cup playoffs. That's the European side. Italy, same, as they lost to Norway, who have also made it to the World Cup for the first time in 28 years. Gennaro Gattuso, coach of the Italian side, also has some things to say about the number of slots the African teams have. And then we'll also be looking at the sporting side of the budget review for 2026, the budget of the World Cup for the Ghana Black Stars. We'll look at some of the things that have been said. So it's a packed show here on Sports 101 here on YouTube. So subscribe, like, tell your friends we are live on YouTube, share, and comment on all our social media platforms. Let us know what you think in the comment section. We'll take a quick turnaround, and when we come back, it's straight into the conversation. And it's still Sports 101 here. Lucky is here in the studio. Kofi is in the studio. Remember, Sports 101 is proudly brought to you by Nkunim Phones. Nkunim Phones here in Takrady Market Circle. You can locate Nkunim Phones at the Market Circle, just adjacent the Bank of Africa. When you go to Market Circle, it's very, very easy to identify. They have a massive sign, a massive green sign right in front of the office at Nkunim Phones. So when you go there, whatever you need when it comes to phones, accessories, everything that you need when it comes to phones, high-end phones, mid-range phones, whatever budget you have, low budget phones, you get quality there at Nkunim Phones. So when you go there, you tell them that you're from the Sports 101 team, and you get something really nice. You get some interesting discounts from the lovely staff there at Nkunim Phones at Takrady Market Circle. We get right into the conversation. We start with the Super Eagles of Nigeria and that game against Gabon and Congo. And we'll look at the Congolese side as well and look at how well they can perform at the Interconfederations competition in March. Super Eagles coach Eric Shell has also been talking. He was feisty in that penalty shootout as he accused the Congolese side of using voodoo in that penalty shootout. So It's a lot to talk about here. Let's start with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Guys, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
You guys are having some back and forth.
It's typical.
What is going on?
It's typical with myself and Kofi. We always have
You never agree on anything.
It's like MPP and DC.
So who is NDC?
They love each other, yet they don't agree on
Who is
it.
NDC?
He's pro NDC.
And you are pro MPP.
Well, I'm neutral. You know.
But before we come to the Black Stars, let's look at the hottest news all over social media, all over traditional media. Nigeria, Kofi's Nigeria, are out of the World Cup for the second time consecutively. We take a look at it holistically. We would definitely break this down in terms of what the coach is saying, in terms of the penalty shootouts, where I'm sure you've heard about the coach saying that there were some voodoo going on during the penalty kicks. So we'll look at that. And then we'll look at the Nigerian team as a whole. These two games, we'll look at them during the qualifiers. And we'll also look at whether or not it's about quality or the team is being managed poorly. So first of all, let's get an overview of these CAF playoffs and what's been your take on all the games we saw. I think we saw it was 3 games. We saw 3 games in the CAF playoffs. What's your overview of all the games? Cameroon, Gabon, Nigeria, and then DR Congo. Decide who wants to take it.
Anyway, good morning to those watching us, wherever you're doing them, watching from, or those listening to us. I think that we saw interesting games on the African continent. The Nigerian team against the Gabonese team, I thought it was going to be more competitive than we saw, on Thursday. The Nigerians, marked their territory very well with an emphatic 4-1 victory over the Gabonese side. It was more of a team that was more prepared, and the team that wanted it most. It looked like the Nigerians wanted it most. The Nigerians had, a lot of quality. If you compare the Gabonese side to the Nigerian side, clearly, the Nigerians, outweigh the Gabonese in terms of the quality on the pitch, and it was evident on the day. So I wasn't so much surprised, albeit I felt with what the Gabonese side had done, in the qualifiers all throughout the competition, missing out to the Ivorians by just a single point. I felt they were going to be, they were going to give that game a fight, but it didn't happen. The Nigerians went on to progress to the final, came up against a DR Congo side that, left it late against a Cameroonian side. I knew this game was going to be tough because I've watched the DR Congo team. I follow them keenly. They do have some big boys in there, albeit they are not household names that a lot of people know. Probably apart from Wan Bissaka, who, because of his stint in the Premier League and for Manchester United, he's more familiar in the eyes of a lot of people. But they do have some pretty solid guys like Elias, like Bukambu, Katumpa, Mvokamo. Do have some weird names though, but they are a pretty solid side. Yes, these are boys who have played in the Premier League, in Belgium, in France. And if you look at the team as a whole, all the players don't play in DR Congo. They either play in the Premier League, in the Belgian league, where there's a connection between DR Congo and Belgium. So just like France and Senegal and Mali. So they easily move to Belgium and the Netherlands. So they do have players who have, played their trade outside the shores of, Congo and have made it in Europe. So like I said, they are not your typical household name, but they are a very, very solid side. I think the game started very well for the Nigerians. Getting a goal very, very early on. But as the game progressed, you realize that the DR Congo team started, getting a grip of the game. And it became pretty obvious that the Nigerians were not going to find it very easy. I wasn't surprised, they equalized. I think in the 32nd minute thereabout. From there on, it was very difficult for both sides. And then the penalty shootout. Kofi always says that penalty is like pulling straws, it's a game of luck. I somewhat agree, somewhat disagree. I think penalties, you have to be prepared. It's just like any a free kick or any sport kick. You need a certain technique, you need a certain level of mindset to be able to approach the game. But in this game, I think we saw some terrible, penalty kicks from both sides. Some of the kick, Calvin Bassey's penalty kick was, for me, was very terrible. A couple of players, but eventually DR Congo had to, go through. Whether you believe in luck, you don't believe in luck, whatever happens, the Nigerians have, they played themselves into this particular situation. Nigeria could have avoided this situation, but they didn't get things right. I think that they're even lucky to be here, because if that, disqualification, or if that, what is called, point deduction, did not happen to South Africa, Nigeria would not even have made it to the playoffs. So they played themselves. They didn't play well during the qualifiers, especially when they played at home. They're very terrible at home. Yes, on the road they got some pretty good results against Rwanda and against other teams, but at home in Abuja or wherever they played, the Nigerian team never looked convincing. Some have said this is arguably the most talented Nigerian side never to have made the World Cup. I tend to agree, because some of the talented Nigerian sides we have seen, they've always made the World Cup. Like in the 1994 World Cup in the US, we saw that, for me, the golden generation of Nigerian talent we've ever seen. It had, Finidi George, it had Rashidi Akini, it had JJ Okocha, it had Nwanko Kanu, Babayaro, Babangida. It had these generation of players that made sure they respected the Nigerian flag, they respected the dynasty of Nigerian football. I think this crop of players have not done that. They play for the glamour, they play for the fame. They've not really represented the national team well. I just know I don't want to focus on what is happening at the NFA, because listen, this is a thing with Nigerian football. It's always been happening. They've always had issues with bonuses. They've always had issues with preparations. But the team has gone on to play and represent the Nigerian flag very well. And I think that these crop of players have not done, themselves good in the way they've represented the team. Because I think they are very, very talented. You can never get, a perfect 11. Some say the Nigerians have, a good attack but very bad defense. You can't have a perfect 11. How many teams or, national teams in the world have a perfect 11 or a perfect side? No. You either have a very good defense, a wobbly midfield, wobbly attack, or there's some balance in there, average team. But this Nigerian team, they have, Lukman, Osimhen, Calvin Bassey, for me, one of the best right backs, not just in the Premier League, in the world. So they do have a balanced team that should be able to mentally carry this team against some of the teams they played in the playoffs. I mean, they fumbled against Rwanda, fumbled against Benin, they were fumbling left, right, center. Only when it got tough, they realized that, no, listen, our destiny is at stake. That's when the Nigerian team started or decided to play well. I think they played themselves into this situation, and they shouldn't blame anybody. The players should take full responsibility of what has happened to Nigeria, Sami.
Well, Kofi, your overview, but from what Lucky said, I think the Nigerian side have a good defense. I think if you look at the guys, Calvin Bassey and Ajayi in centre back, and Fredericks, the right back, very, very, very promising, solid young footballer. He'll probably kick Olayana out of that team, who is equally a very good, footballer. And so when you look at this Nigerian side, I have always maintained that this team is not good enough. And it's not just about the front lines. I've always talked about the Nigerian team having a non-existent midfield. That's been my major issue with this Nigerian side. And I've also said that with all the names the Nigerians possess, the attack is just Victor Osimhen. You can talk about, Ademola Lookman also being one big name there. But if you ask me, the rest of the guys, in terms of the quality that we are looking for, I don't think this Nigerian side has the attack that, a lot of people are making it seem like. And so if you look at the likes of Victor Osimhen, he didn't start the qualifiers with Nigeria. And so Nigeria dropped points at the beginning of the qualifiers. He came back in, got quite a number of goals for the Super Eagles. And you notice that whenever he's out of the team, the team suffers. He went out at halftime in that game yesterday, and that was it for the Super Eagles. No bites, no nothing. And so looking at how the Super Eagles have played throughout the qualification and an overview of the team in itself, do you think it's about quality or the team is poorly coached?
Well, I would probably want to align with the second part, that they are poorly coached. I think they are poorly coached. I do not think that the Nigerian team do not have the players like you want us to believe. Even in the midfield, where, yeah, arguably, if you consider some of the powerhouses in African football currently, you'd want to probably think that Nigeria are a bit lightweight. But they made some provisions in there. They made some improvisations in there, some improvising in there. Look, you had somebody like the ex-Arsenal boy, Iwobi, playing in the midfield, and I think that he was a good fit. You understand, alongside Ndidi. Yes, I think they played well. Look, I've always said that football is about moments, and if Nigeria had taken their chances in the first 30 minutes of the game, we wouldn't be having this discussion. Because in the first 30 minutes of the game, before the Congolese equalized, they were as good as any African team you
Same
see.
they did against Gabon.
Yes, I mean they were as good. So it tells you there's an element of coaching to this Nigerian team. I do not think that they have the best coach handling them now. You understand? And some of the things that we have heard and seen thereafter buttresses the point I seek to make about the coaching. I think that Nigerians do have a huge coaching deficit, and until they address those issues, they are not going to go anywhere. Look, I saw the game. I looked at Ademola Lookman. I do not think he's the same player who he was last season. You understand? He's lost a bit of form. He's lost confidence. But the point is,
at his club side.
yes, but the point is simple. I think that the clash of egos, even up front, was a reason why Nigeria put up that disjointed performances for large parts of the game. I looked at the body language of Osimhen.
Yeah.
I looked at the body language of the other guy who was on the other wing, the other Rasta boy. Chukwueze, you understand? I looked at the body language. I looked at decision making by Ademola Lookman, and subsequently the reaction of Osimhen. No, take it or leave it. Osimhen is a big boy in that team, and there was a chance that Ademola Lookman had a chance. Osimhen was running into space, kept pointing that put the ball here. I think he drifted the ball back. Eventually, the chance was wasted because at that time they were 1-up. They were playing so well, and they had opportunities to kill off the game. And then Osimhen was remonstrating.
You could see that throughout that.
He was frustrated.
Yeah.
You understand? But I mean, those are some of the tiny details that I would want to look at. It points to one thing. I think that there's a leadership crisis in the Nigerian team. I think that this Nigerian team is bereft of proper leaders. Look, Lucky mentions some of the names of past. You understand? When we had the likes of the Finidi Georges, we had the Emmanuel Amoni case. You understand? We had there was another left-footed player, Daniel Amokachi. You understand? We had Rashid Yekini. You understand? And all of those guys. Even Peter Rufa, you understand? And all of those guys who ran through the Nigerian system, you realize that, look, there was this Arsenal boy in Wakukan. They had leadership. This Nigerian team has talent. But if you do not have leaders running through the main spine of the team, you're definitely always going to be in trouble. And I think that it's one of the things that Nigerians need to sort out. Leadership. For all of the crises that we've had to go through as a country in Ghana, I think that it's one area that we subtly have handled very well.
This issue is something that Troy Deeney talked about, the leadership in the Super Eagles. He talked about his ex-teammate, the captain of the Nigerian side, that's William Troost Ekong.
Look at how he's been dealt with.
I'm
he
really
reacted to
wondering
that.
why
He
he was
didn't
left
take
on the bench.
Look at how he's been handled.
I think you need figures like that.
Exactly the point. Look at how he's been handled. He's virtually been ostracized. And Yes, I agree that
Someone who
Calvin
was the best player at that point.
exactly. See, look, he's pushed Calvin Bassey into the central defense. You understand? That's fine. But at the end of the day, you need an experienced head alongside. You understand? You need somebody who can come in. And I think that Calvin Bassey, because of the way he plays and his ability and his ability to read the game, is a very good central defender. I think that naturally he's a left fullback, but because of how he plays, he can see the game and he can be able to link between the defense and the midfield. And when you have a problem like the Nigerians do have, when they do not have the strongest of midfields, you need those personalities in there who can step up and fill in the gap when they need be. You understand? Typical example is what Luke Shaw does at Manchester United. Calvin Bassey can play that role very well. Very, very well. But the players are watching. There are young players in this Nigerian team. And I think that they have a lot of talent. I mean, look, the guys who came on as substitutes. I think that there was one guy who came on, played on the right flank, made an impact, even in the game against Gabon. Ojeyi or whatever his name is. You understand? There are young players who are in this Nigerian team. They are looking at the culture. They are looking at how you are treating some of these old players. And they will transmit the culture going forward. I think that these are issues that the Nigerians need to pay a lot of attention to. And once they're able to do that, but beyond that, come on, what was the coach thinking? Why do you take Osimhen out?
The reports he was injured. I don't think he would have taken him out if he wasn't
from what?
injured.
No, you took Osimhen out. You took Ademola Lookman out. Yes, Ademola Lookman is terribly out of form. But these are two of Nigeria's best attackers.
No, but I think the Osimhen issue, what we heard after the game or the report, I listened to a guy who's followed them. He's like a cameraman. He calls himself Poja or something like that. Yes. Yeah, he says that Osimhen, Osimhen's literally PR. He says Osimhen had picked up a knob, and so he communicated.
It's a PR gimmick.
No, I don't think
that's
the most important game.
It's a PR gimmick.
That is what the guy said that Osimhen had picked up a knob and all of that. So I don't think he would take him off if there was not a problem.
In the coming days, you hear a lot come out of the Pandora box. In the coming days, there will be massive fallout. You hear a lot of stories. I am telling you that Osimhen was injured.
But you see, you cannot fault this manager because...
And I am telling you that there was a power play at halftime in the dressing room.
Power play from where?
From the players against the coaching staff.
And you think there are bigger players in that dressing room than Osimhen?
Oh, that's why Osimhen was dropped.
So, no, but you see, if for anything, this manager has proven that his time at Nigeria with the Super Eagles has been very successful. 7 games, he's yet to lose a game.
Yeah, he's
5 games.
actually done better
yes,
than the previous.
all the managers that. So,
no,
his record is enough to, at least, his decision making, you need to support
but
and
you see,
back
when
it.
you talk about his record, Osimhen is very, very crucial to his record.
So, that's what I'm saying.
Every game he's won, Osimhen.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That for whatever happened, I don't think that knowing very well the extent of the game, the what was at stake, he would just take Osimhen off if he wasn't injured. Because amongst the two strikers, Lookman was the terrible one amongst them. Osimhen is the guy who can make something happen out of nothing. So if it's not for injury, what would be the reason to take him off at the time? Because even if there's a power play.
Yeah.
I think that Osimhen is, take out Tuesday, Osimhen is the biggest boy in that dressing room. So even if there's a power play, he would be the guy to make that decision and the coach will follow. So I would want to agree with those who were there, those who are saying that, Osimhen had picked up a knock. I would want to agree. Let's hope and pray that it's not what Kofi is thinking, that there was a power play and that's the reason.
What I'm thinking. No, it's not what I'm thinking.
But
it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, that's what his sources are saying. And I'm saying that I want to agree with those who are there saying that, okay.
But you think my sources are not there?
Well, okay. Let me rightly put it. I would want to agree with those, the quarters that are closer to the team, like what that guy said. I think you probably have seen him. Yeah. Yes, what that guy is saying, I'd want to agree. Maybe he's also trying to play a PR gimmick or whatever it is. But I think that let's assess the situation as it is. Like Kofi said, was the Nigerian team on the given day good enough to win the game? Yes, they were good enough, but it didn't happen because, like I said, these players are players who think they are there and they are not there yet. Outside Osimhen, who I think can walk into any big team in this world and command first team plays. The rest are so and so.
Oh, come
They
on.
they do not
Come
play
on.
together as a team.
Come
There's
on.
no proper. You see, I've always said that the Black Stars had an issue like that in the early years. We had arguably some of the best players in the world. At the time, we had, Emmanuel Gago, we had, Bafor, you had Tony Yeboah, you had Abedi Pele, we had all of that. But we consistently failed to win the ultimate, even qualify for the World Cup. But we had a generation who were together as a team, who understood that for us to do this, we need to work collectively. The only thing the 2006 team that made it to the World Cup in Germany had over the glory days of the Black Stars that we had was they had a what is it called? The team was together. They were united. They wanted it so much. We knew the issues that had hit the Pele camp at the time in the 1992 AFCON. We knew subsequently that World Cup qualifier they played in Nigeria. We had those issues. That team was not collective. They were not united. But it's similar with this team. You made mention of that chance that Lukman could have just laid off to Osimhen. If you have a team like that where players play for themselves, these are the things that will happen. The Nigerians, like I said, it's simple. They played themselves in this situation and they shouldn't blame the NFF. They've always had issues with the NFF. They shouldn't blame the manager. Why do you blame? What has he done? He's yet to lose a game since he took over. He took over this Nigerian team. You don't blame him. He did what he had to do. In the end, it falls or the onus or lies on the players to ensure that listen, they deliver on the pitch. They failed to deliver. Like I said, this DR Congo team, they may not be your household name, but they are a solid team. They've done very well. They beat the Cameroonians. They've gone ahead to beat the Nigerians. I have a funny feeling if they're able to overcome that inferiority complex, they will qualify. Because if you look at the pool they find themselves in against this UAE side, the Oceania region, and Bolivia, these are teams that they should be. That's why I said I told a friend that if Nigeria able to move past this stage, Nigeria will qualify. Because if for anything, if Nigerians were pitted against the Bolivians, I think the Nigerians would beat the Bolivians. Whichever team Nigeria played against, Nigeria would have easily beaten them and Nigeria would have qualified. I think DR Congo also have that quality to qualify.
Well, as the guys have said, I just think that what we saw from the Nigerian side is a reflection of what we saw in the group qualifying phase. I don't think anything would have been different from what we saw. The Nigerians were lucky to be in the playoffs in the first place, and it's more like it's a collection of very good players that do not know how to play as a team, and I think that the team needs a lot more time together to gel and then to play as a team. Another thing that I observed was that there was no system, there was no pattern. When you are playing a one-off final against a Congo DR side that obviously anybody watching the game could see that they had a way they wanted to play and they were going through the wings, they had the ball on the turf. Nigerians, win possession in transition, they were rubbish because it's more like they were just booting the ball upfield, hoping for it to fall to somebody. And when you don't have a figure like Osimhen up top, then you see that the team suffers. So I just think that it was more like they were playing and hoping that something will happen for them. And you could see that they were actually playing for the penalty because you could see Stanley Nwabali very confident and then taking his time with those goal kicks and all of that. And I just felt that, yes, he could make some saves, but can he trust his teammates to also, convert whatever chances that they have to convert? So for me, I think as it stands, the Super Eagles, you can say it's a one-man team because if you look at their record in these qualifiers with Osimhen and without Osimhen, obviously he has been the most important figure in the side. But going forward, I just think that there are too many issues with this Nigerian side. the World Cup would miss the Nigerian side because they bring a lot of vibe to the World Cup.
Did you miss them in 2002?
No, I missed them.
Maybe probably you missed them
Nigerian side in
because of
2002.
your affiliation with Nigeria. I don't think
I
you
always
missed
miss
them.
the Nigerian
Exactly,
side.
because
not at the World Cup.
because Nigeria is like your second home.
Yes,
I
would
didn't
rather-
miss a lot of people did not miss the Nigerians.
Even
missed
FIFA
them.
will miss
Oh,
Nigeria.
FIFA
at the
would not
World
miss
Cup.
it. They should stay home.
And it's just sad because a lot of things are not going well, and for the typical or the average Nigerian, football is what gives them that excitement and that joy. And so if you are missing out on the World Cup, it's devastating for the Nigerians. And as I said, a lot of things are not working for the Nigerian side. Nothing is inspirational, even the national anthem. The players don't know how to sing it. The fans don't know how to sing it. The anthem is not inspirational.
Are you
Imagine the Black Stars.
Tinubu will not be happy with
Imagine
this.
the Black Stars going to the World Cup, and then you are going to the World Cup. You cannot even sing the national anthem.
This. I mean,
You need
Look,
the
you have no idea.
you need to be able
You
to
have
sing
no
the
idea.
national anthem
before
to
you
play
play
football.
well for your country.
You have no idea how much inspiration you can get by singing your national anthem before an all-important game. Anybody that is involved in sports, anybody that is involved in football, people even cry. Have you seen the Italians?
When they
Some cry, they get emotional. It gives you
When-
that added
Just
when-
Taylor played for Ghana and played well.
when
He did
I'm
not.
sorry, give you a typical example. I'll give you a typical
when
example.
you hear it alone, let me
The United players sing.
Hear it
The United players sing.
That's club football.
Eh,
Lucky.
no.
That's club football.
What's the difference?
Club
don't
football
sing
is not as
anthems in
emotional
club.
as national
You
football.
don't sing
I am
anthems
telling
in
you,
club football.
I'm trying to tell you
you don't
that.
sing national anthems
No,
in club football.
I'm
How
trying.
do you bring in that
No,
tangent?
I'm trying to tell you that you see, even if you don't sing it, the players do not need to sing the national
No,
anthem
but
to
what
be
was that point
motivated.
you sought to make about United? I mean,
No. I'm just trying to say. Oh, I could have chosen any other team. But I'm just trying to tell you that. I'm just trying to tell you that. Listen,
You cannot-
players don't need motivation from their national anthem before they deliver.
You cannot downplay the influence. Even you,
Oh,
as a
I will.
pastor, you need to get into the spirit, do praise and worship, because before you can go and do
You
deliverance.
want me to sing?
So you think that the national anthem
It-
does
it-
not add that
It
extra
doesn't add
motivation?
anything. It doesn't add
I'm telling you,
anything.
it does.
If you
When
need,
people hear
if
the
the
national
Nigerians
anthem,
need
you know
motivation,
what you can do to them.
if the Nigerians need
And you have a new
motivation,
national anthem, you cannot sing it. Already you are 1-0 down because you hear the South Africans sing the anthem.
they are not serious.
You
The players are not serious.
sing the
Simple.
anthem.
Oh, I submit.
So I'm telling you
they're
that
throwing
look,
shades at Tinubu for no
I'm
reason.
just telling you that a lot of things are not working.
They should fix it.
And it's unfortunate, and you know it will be difficult to recover because they would need that extra psychological boost to prepare mentally for the AFCON after missing out on the World Cup. It would affect the team going into the AFCON because already the motivation will be low.
Do you know why I disagree? I disagree because, listen, players go through the worst of moments in their careers. They play, let's say, a final, they lose in a UEFA final, they would have to come back to their country, motivate themselves and play. Players, you see, if you really want to represent the green, white, green, if you really want to represent the country and play well for your country, you don't need your national anthem. Yes, you've lost out on the World Cup. It's a big deal. But you see, the truth is that the Nigerian team should be able to motivate themselves and say, this is the AFCON. Let's go out there and deliver.
Have you heard about how footballers talk about the feeling they get when they hear the Champions League anthem?
Yes.
You don't think that it does something to you? You don't think that when you find yourself in a certain situation, that reminder that you are playing for pride or you're at a certain point in your career, you don't think it does something? You hear the Ghanaian national team or the national anthem, even you as a fan, when it is time to play the national anthem, you get goosebumps. Let alone the players.
I'm going to say something funny. Didn't we hear the national anthem all throughout the AFCON qualifiers? Yet we failed to qualify for the AFCON.
No, don't misinterpret the point I am making.
No, Sammy, I'm trying
you
to
know
tell you that
exactly what I'm talking about.
there are certain things that are.
At the end of the day,
that are.
they play both anthems. One team will still lose.
I'm telling you that there are certain things that they are important, but are not so important that they affect the outcome of a particular thing.
That's why
I am
said
not
that
discounting
a lot
the
of things
importance
are wrong,
of
and
something.
there's
Sammy,
no inspiration.
I'm
at
not
all.
discounting the importance of the national anthem, I will be very, very crazy to discount the importance of, singing your national anthem or reciting the national. I'll be very, very stupid. But I'm not discounting its importance. I'm trying to tell you that it's important, but it has no merit on a team delivering on a pitch or a particular player delivering on a pitch. It has no influence of a sort. If the Nigerians for some reason fail to qualify or fail to, like Kofi said, in the first 30 minutes, they should have put the game to bed. We all saw the game. They created enough chances to go ahead by 2 or 3 goals, but they failed to do that. That's not the doing of the national anthem. Were they not motivated in playing the way they played to generate those chances? They were. I think that, listen, they should forget about what has happened at the World Cup qualifiers. In the first place, they shouldn't even be at the playoffs. They were that poor during the qualifiers. Albeit South Africa were deducted points, that's why they were here. They should forget about it. It has happened. Do we have the right materials to deliver in December? I think they do. Do we have the right coach to deliver in December? I think they do, because at least in his 7 games in charge, he's proven that he's good enough to play with this team. They should find a way and pluck out the minor, issues the team has in terms, like you said, their pattern of play. When the team is in possession of the ball, what do they do? When they lose possession, what do they do? In transitioning from defense to attack, how does the team play? Those are the things they should find, solutions to, because you're coming up against teams who are prepared. The Moroccan team is prepared. The Ivorian team is prepared. There are teams on the African continent who are prepared to play in this year's AFCON. I don't think that Nigeria want to go to this AFCON and again disgrace themselves. It will be a double dose of, pain they will put their fans through. I think the best motivation for this Nigerian team is to tell themselves that, listen, we failed to qualify for the World Cup, but guys, we can't afford to disgrace our nation again. Let's go out there and bring the AFCON back to Nigeria. So guys, don't you think that this is a good enough motivation?
No, I don't agree with you. Let's know in the comment section what you think about what we're talking about. If you think that the importance of the national anthem to teams before kickoff, whether it does something to the team. Kofi, before we get into the Black Stars, we have seen teams or fans belt out their national anthem with a lot of pride. And as fans, even as players on the pitch, if you were not even prepared for a game and you see how the fans or the crowd have turned up to the stadium, belt out the national anthem, and are ready for the game, doesn't it give you that added bite to do something?
No, it does.
If in a game where you have your fans at the stadium and the fans can barely sing the anthem, you as a player, you can barely sing the anthem.
It does.
Doesn't it do something?
It does. I mean, football is an emotional game.
Exactly.
And once you can connect with all of the emotions can come out from singing the national anthem. You have an adrenaline pump. Exactly. You understand? And in that moment in time, you can do more than you even think you can.
Lucky things are being petty.
No, you're not being petty. Let me tell you. I mean, when we were in secondary school, there was a day we went into a little mini banter and trouble. And the way the boys were giving me fans, there was another guy who was taller and bigger than I was, pushed me all the way to the back bench. The boys were giving me fans. Yeah. Got up. And the fans that the boys gave me, I pushed this boy. One, he was done. Career over. Game over. and I recall back to this day. The point is that if the boys hadn't given me fans, the boy would have done me from. You understand? But the fans, the emotional connection, the joy, the strength it gave me. So nobody can discount the fact that you need that connection. You need that element of support. You understand? When you sing the national anthem, you think about all of the people who are represented the country, done great things, done exploits for the country, and then have raised high the flag of the country. There's an extra motivation in that moment in time. You understand? To go the extra mile. And I think that we would all be lying if we think that the national anthem and singing all of these songs. Look,
when Nigeria played against Gabon, I heard the famous Super Eagles band.
Yeah.
They were playing
Trumpets.
la 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 Lily, come and show us your rackets. When they play that song,
Yeah.
if you're a player and you're on the field, you understand. You have no option than to avail yourself to be a vessel that God will show through them, through you, the miracles that the Nigerians want to see. I think that, look, every loser would obviously have all of these connotations we are trying to ascribe to the Nigerians. I'm sure that if the Congolese had lost, we'll be having a different conversation. But the point is that I do not think that the Nigerians were too terrible like we want it to be like. You understand? They did not take their chances. The Congolese, on the average, on the whole, I should say, played very well, rode on their luck, and at the end of the day, did the most important thing, whether by voodoo or by technique or whatever it was. You understand? So I think that national anthems and all of these songs and all of these chants, they have a place in sports.
Okay, we will quickly have a quick take on the Black Stars and then we'll get straight into Europe. The Black Stars have a game tomorrow against Korea. They played against Japan last week, lost by 2-0. We can say that, yes, Otto Addo is still giving an opportunity to some of the other teams, the other players to, make a claim for them for a spot in the national team for the World Cup. But again, this Japanese side and the Korean side and the Brazilian side that we are seeing, these guys are already preparing for the World Cup. They are already playing their best teams. I don't think that the team that the Japanese played was an experimental team. And so with players pulling out and waiting for World Cup proper before they make themselves available, and what we are seeing with Otto Addo, what's been your overview of
What are you seeing with Otto Addo?
No, I'm saying with what we are seeing, giving opportunity to some of these new guys. I'm not talking about what Otto Addo brings here. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that is it having a negative impact on the team not having our best players participate? Because we are not going to the AFCON, so we need to take these games as serious as possible to gel more as a team. So if you have about 5 first team players, 6 first team players out, you don't wait until it's time for the World Cup before you take
Sammy, not to cut you short, I've always told you in particular that going to the World Cup and doing well does not only lie in the bosom of having a good coach or otherwise. You think that all of these circumstances we are experiencing and all of these back and forth we are having with our star players, used advisedly, it's not going to have a toll on the team. It's not going to have a toll on the preparation of the team.
I don't get exactly the point.
No. The point is that there is somebody in charge of the playing unit who needs to make sure that everything that the coach wants is provided. True or false?
True.
There's a management committee which needs to make sure that we are having our best players, because like you rightly said, we are not going to the AFCON, so we will not have the opportunity to play together in a competitive environment. Yeah. And so, I agree with you perfectly. We should be treating these friendly games as our final preparations towards the World Cup. But the point is simple. Do you think the people on the management committee are doing well to help the coach deliver the mandates that he's been presented to deliver?
I think that they are doing well. I think that it's, the Black Stars are in an uncomfortable situation where you need to give other players an opportunity to show what they can do with the national team, because it's going to be a 26-man squad. So there are certain players that would need an opportunity to come into the team, get an opportunity to prove themselves, and then, make a claim for that final 26-man squad. But at the same time, we also have limited opportunity, because after this window, the next is March. You can play only 2 matches. After that, that's about it. You are looking at the final preparations for the World Cup. So we are in a difficult situation where we have this dilemma. And so how do we deal with it?
Well, I think the coach is doing the best he can. The coach is doing the best he can. But I am happy that you are pointing out these facts, you understand? Because some of the players who have not showed up
Why have they not showed up?
Well, we know Kudus was injured. He missed that game against Man
You
United.
understand?
The
Why
likes of
have the other
Partey was
players-
out, Jordan is out, Fatao was out. He wasn't in the team. A lot of these guys, Salisu also will not be available tomorrow for the game against Japan. And so,
Korea,
sorry, the game
Sammy,
against Korea.
why is Kofi blaming the management team?
Kofi's not.
No,
blaming.
subtly.
He's blaming
I am not blaming anybody. I am
Stop
saying
me.
that we are not putting in the right infrastructure. We are not putting in the right effort to aid the coach to
How?
deliver his mandate.
Sammy, how?
How do you expect the coach to prepare if his best players are not available?
Who invites? Whose duty is it to invite the players?
Who? Tell us.
Whose duty is it
Well,
to
the
invite
coach
players?
makes the final decision on who to invite.
It's not the management team that calls up players. It's not the FA that calls up players. It is the coach together with
Sammy,
his
can
technical...
I come in?
Okay, you can.
Lucky. We have been in this game for too long a time. You cannot sit there and play the
Oh,
ostrich.
jeez.
We know what happens in Ghana.
Oh, jeez.
We know how players are invited in Ghana.
Oh, jeez.
You cannot tell me that all the players who were invited was under the jurisdiction of Otuado.
Otuado in his last press conference...
Sammy, why are you laughing?
Sammy, Otuado
You cannot tell me.
in his press conference in Ghana here, he was asked a simple, straight question, and he answered by saying, "Go and check. It's on the internet.
That what?
Nobody invites players." He said, "All the 22-man squad that we saw on that day in our final AFCON, in the final World Cup qualifier, it was his sole doing together with his technical team."
But what do you expect him to say?
No,
I am
so
scandalized.
you can be
Absolutely
scandalized.
scandalized.
And you see, for whatever it is not the duty of the FA to say, okay, we are calling XYZ for a friendly game to be arranged. It is the duty of the FA. Now, you made an excellent point. Listen, we don't have time.
Yeah.
We don't have time. So why do you start inviting players? These are players that will not show up. I think it's high time we started looking at the players, because some of these players are reserving their legs for their clubs. Do you know where Fatah Ishaku was? You know where he was on the day after the game? He was at Tidal Reef with his Ferrari.
Maybe he's injured. If he's injured, he can't ride his Ferrari.
Fatah Ishaku played before he came down. Fatah Ishaku is not injured. He's listed at Leicester as fit.
Again, that's what brings me to the point where
So
I was saying
so
that
let's
maybe
give-
the coach wants to give other players an opportunity
This
to
is not
prove
the time.
themselves.
Senegal, don't they want to have the other? Don't they want to give other players?
So
a chance?
Lucky.
The Senegalese
So Lucky, hold
put up-
on. So you are saying Otto did not invite Fatah?
No,
What are you saying?
That's not what I'm saying.
No,
I'm
what
saying
I'm
that-
saying. I
can we
want to
start- can we start looking at-
I want to
because
understand you
think-
better.
I think for some reason, I don't want to conjecture here. I don't want to speak out of ignorance. But I want to think that Otuado wanted to play it safe by inviting his best players at the same time, giving other players the opportunity. I have a feeling that some of the players turned down the invite. I have a funny feeling.
So you think he invited them, but they turned it down?
turned down the invite. Because even if you are injured, don't make it look too obvious. Partying.
Jordan turned
Nobody
down the
can.
invite.
I think Jordan turned out the
The
invite.
captain of the side.
There's nothing wrong with
No
it.
player has shown more commitment than Jordan.
So he could.
So
he can even- he can even say,
what
"Oh,
does the coach?
Oh, coach, this
so
one there, this one
so
there."
what does the coach do in this circumstance?
Nothing.
So
That's
why
what
are
I'm
you
saying.
trying
I'm
to
not
blame
blaming
the
the coach? Well, in all my submission, you've not heard me blame the coach. I'm saying that.
No, but you
I said
started
something.
with the
No,
management committee,
That's because
and you
you
don't
were-
think that it is the job of the management committee to
You know what?
firm up the if the coach invites you. It's not just down to the coach talking to you to turn up the invitation. You understand? There's a process, and the management committee is part of the process.
And you know what they do? The management committee does not force the players. The coach will give out his list.
Lucky.
This is my
Lucky.
the players I want them to play.
Lucky.
They'll give it out to the management committee and the
Sammy,
FA. It is their duty to call the guys. Prepare
Sammy,
arrangements.
I do not know what it is that they do now. By knowing the time of Kwesi Nyantakyi, when players were invited, some of the management committee members even flew to the players directly to have engagement with them.
It's
You understand?
I mean, it's so
No.
obvious.
No.
It's very obvious.
Hold on.
It's very obvious.
I've
told you that we've been in this game together for a long time. You understand? You cannot sit here and speak grammar and we allow you to go
No,
scot-free.
so, well, I mean, I
let
think that
me
we are
land,
creating the wrong impression.
let
Why
me
are you
land.
trying to even
Let
blame
me
the
land.
management in this situation? Why are we trying to even put the blame so step of the
If your conspiracy theories are right, and the things that you think you are thinking is right,
Yeah.
you don't think that it would have been prudent for any of the management committee members to step in and then kill the malaise?
So you see, if a player can, again, you can turn down a call up for a lot of reasons. Some may be genuinely justified. And again, that's what I'm saying, that take time and listen. I'm not trying to say that their reason for turning down the call up was unjustified. Somebody like Jordan, come on. If Jordan right now, O2 calls him, I'm coming. If Jordan right now, O2 calls him and says, I'm a bit tired, so let's Coach E, as for this one, I want to excuse myself. Maybe Coach Wado would easily say, oh, Jordan, it's okay, it's now.
No, I don't think. I think this
Because
is pure.
Well, he has only 19 players available.
That's what I'm
Firmino
saying.
is also leaving camp.
That's what I'm saying. That listen, I think that I do not know the plan. Again, let's not speak out of ignorance. We do not know the plan of the manager, the management team, the FA, and the coach. We don't know. Maybe they do have proper plan put in place, this and this and this. But I think that I agree perfectly with you. This is not the time we should be doing match-try match-play with our friendly games. You saw the Senegalese team against the Brazilians. We've seen the Egyptian team play against you've seen the Moroccan team. They are putting out their best foot because, like I said, this is the best time. I always say that friendly games should not be treated just as friendly games. There are times when the manager should put in place his tactics, try to fine-tune his whatever he intends to do with the team. So I'm not so much focused on the results we are getting in our friendly games, whether we get the result or not. I want to see a pattern. I want to sit down and watch the Black Stars and say, okay, O2, this is what you want to do with the team. Giving time, this might just, we might see the result of it. I don't just want you to put out a crop of 11 players, they go and play, they lose, and that's it. We want to see something, an end to a means, or a means to an end, however you decide to play. So I don't think that we should try and apportion blames here and there, because there could be genuine reasons why some players did not show up. And there could also be reasons that do not make sense. But I think that some of the players pulled out primarily because they don't want to be picking up injuries at this time of the season. The last thing Fatah would want to do is get injured again.
No, but why would they want to be injured? Because their European counterparts or the players that they play with in the West are also engaged in European qualifiers. So why would the players want to pull out?
So
Why is it that they would want to pull out?
Because
they feel they might get injured.
you saw what happened to the guy who was invited. His first call up, boom, he gets
Abu?
injured.
No,
Sorry,
it's
you saw what happened to Abu.
No, it's the life of a footballer.
So-
It's the life of it. That is why I have always been for the motion that when you start playing politics with the bonuses like your minister was doing, I have issues. Because anytime they step onto the pitch, it could be potentially game over for them.
So the player decided that no, this game.
No, but how would you know? Anytime a player steps onto the pitch, it is very possible he might get a career threatening
So
injury.
in this particular game, when they know, again, let's also analyze the thing holistically. He knows that after this game, there is no serious national team activity up until March. So I would rather risk avoiding this game and focus on my club. If I get injured in my club, it's fine. But imagine Fatal, he recovered from injury barely a month ago. Just after getting recovering from injury for Leicester, he comes to play in that friendly game against Japan. He gets injured. He goes off for 2-3 months again. How do you think he would feel?
I don't
so
get
I think
the
that the
point.
player, those who for some reason turn it down for not so genuine reasons, they are weighing the pros and cons. Come on, let me avoid this game. Rest for my national team. I can rest for 3 months, but for my club, let me concentrate on my club. I can get injured in my club.
No,
That's fine. These are things that happen in football.
I think this conspiracy theory by
yes,
it doesn't
all
hold,
of us
honestly.
are putting out conspiracy theories. So let's focus on the
doesn't
issue.
hold. I mean,
In the friendly games, the only friendly game we've seen O2 play against Japan, were we impressed? I wasn't impressed with whatever he was trying to do. I'm hoping that against Korea, we'll see some improvement, because friendly games should not just be treated as it's a friendly game. I think the coach should be serious. Okay, this is how I want my team to play. Let's overload the midfield. Let's try and be more positional in our play. Let's try and these are the things I want to see, because Sammy, we are not going there to play against Comoros. You know it. We are not going there to play against Madagascar.
Well, guys, the Black Stars have, I think, a maximum 5 matches to play as preparation before the World Cup kicks off. You can have 2 in March. You can have about 3 maximum friendly matches before the World Cup itself in June 2026. So let's see how the team prepares for the games, who gets called up and all of that. But Abu Francis suffered a devastating injury, and we wish him speedy recovery, that he recovers and gets back stronger to a very successful football career. There are lots to discuss, but Thursday we'll be bringing you a lot more on the international scene. By Thursday we would have seen some of the other teams that would have qualified. Netherlands have a chance of making it to the World Cup between today and tomorrow. Germany, same. We've seen Portugal, England, and the likes make their qualifications to the World Cup. But remember, the show is brought to you by Nkonim Phones at Takrady Market Circle, just adjacent the Bank of Africa. So for everything you need with phone accessories, chargers, screen protectors, whatever brand of phone you want, whatever your budget is, make your way to Nkonim Phones at Takrady Market Circle, and then they will sort you out really good. We'll call it a day here on the show. On Thursday, we bring you the shortlist for the CAF Awards, the shortlist for the men's players, for the female player, for the coach of the year. We'll bring you an overview of the European qualifiers. We've dealt with the African scene today. We'll bring you an overview of the European qualifiers to the World Cup. We'll talk about Italy and Gennaro Gattuso saying that Africa do not deserve 9 slots at the World Cup. So make it a date on Thursday, 9 a.m. here on the Sports 101 channel on YouTube. We have lots to bring you, and of course, we'll be previewing the weekend's league matches, the Premier League games, the La Liga games, the Serie A games. Arsenal will be taking on. Is Arsenal playing Spurs?
Yeah, Spurs.
Arsenal is playing Spurs. I know they have Bayern Munich in the Champions League. I know they have Chelsea the following weekend. So
they're playing Spurs.
Arsenal is playing Spurs.
Yeah.
So it looks like we have a very interesting weekend when it comes to football. So on Thursday, we'll get into lots of these conversations. And of course, we would need your views, your reviews, your comments, and then you letting us know what you think about the conversation. So on Thursday, I did this with Kofi and Lucky. I'm Sammy Reward here. See you on Thursday.